Mm.
You know, I have a quick story to share. I went to, shortly after I found this information, I got my mom back in shape. I contacted a big elder conference and I said, boy, have I got some news for you guys. You know, let me come talk to you. And so I gave the talk. And at that point, I didn't have this science assembled in quite the way that I do now.
Yeah.
I gave the talk, and you could hear a pin drop afterwards, and it wasn't a good pin. It was like, what? I literally went in the women's room and cried because I knew the message. Hadn't landed the message.
Mm.
And that was very motivating for me. It was like, okay, you speak science, I must speak science.
Mm.
So I called that guy back. Hey, guy, remember me? I'm like, you got to get involved in hydration. He's like, lady, I already discovered a 4th phase of water. What more do you want? I'm like, well, I'm not letting you go because you're the guy who's going to make it credible for us to learn that we need a different kind of water to hydrate, the one that matches our cells, and that if we use fruits and vegetables, that we will get better hydration out of an apple than we're going to get out of a bottle of water, which is not in that state, which has no charge.
Mm-hmm.
Huge news. Also, by the way, for your audience, you know, when plant material touches this water, like the chia seed does, it also activates this electrical charge. So drinking water alone now that you know this, is a no-no. Now you know, you either put a squeeze of lemon in it, or you put a little apple cider vinegar in it, or you throw a tea bag in it, or you cut up a watermelon, or you throw some raspberries. You just don't want to guzzle water from a bottle because it's lost its very nature.
Right.
And putting it back with plants, they couple and they go forward. Even something as simple as sprinkling a little pink salt or sea salt, rock salt, those natural salts, not the processed one, will start this electrical chain going in the water.
So that's very interesting. So we know that infused water is really helpful.
Yes.
I'm curious, there are people out there who, have transitioned from drinking water to just eating their water. How do you feel about somebody who pretty much doesn't drink water, but only just gets it from fruits and vegetables?
Give them my number. I love them. I can't tell you how good that. It isn't that we don't need liquid. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that the surprise is liquid is packaged when it's packaged by nature.
Right.
Comes in the shape of a fruit or a pear or an apple or a cucumber or salad leaves. And this is a very big message. This is such a surprise to people because they're so used to separating their hydration from their eating.
Right.
But that's not, when I even trace this down, I was looking at cows grazing in the field. And when they have access to grass, the cows need far less hydration than when they're grain fed. How do you like that for information? So all that grass is, of course, 98% water, and animals are hydrating differently than we are. Of course, we know that because we don't see any animals with water bottles,
right?
Except for the camel.
The camel's got a natural built-in water bottle, huh?
So that's a perfect thing to help people understand that they can have a high fresh food. And by fresh food, I don't mean a raw diet. You can also have cooked vegetables. You're going to lose some of the water,
right.
But who cares? It's so you go from 98 to 84. I'm sorry, it's still wildly successful. So we don't have to worry about that.
Much better than the McDonald's diets. Like, we're eating fast food as our diet. It's like there's nothing, it's all dry, it's all dehydrating, and then we have a coffee, and like we're not putting anything hydrating in our body. So anytime you improve that circumstance, you're going to see benefits. One question I had personally, just out of curiosity, is how can we know when we've hydrated? Like, what are some of the signs or signals? Like, how do you kind of know? Because they tell you, if your pee is clear,
right,
hydrated.
Right. Using your pee to tell you where you are in your hydration chain, I think is it's an end point. You want to know before you pee. You want to know. So I find that there's some very simple answers to this, because people have all different kinds of testing, bioimpedance, or they pinch the back of your skin. And mostly those are things that help you find out you're dehydrated. Well, you don't want to find that out. You want to find out you're hydrated.
Right, yeah.
So there's very simple things to check for. If you scan your day and look through your calendar this week and say, did I have any points where I had that 3 o'clock crash? It simply means you didn't get enough hydration earlier in the day. So afternoon fatigue is a very valuable check-in, and it's so simple. You're just like, oh yeah, 3 o'clock, okay. And then also you can do something immediately about it, because you can go and get yourself hydrated. And I'm crazy about this, so I will go and buy 3 apples and eat 3 apples. Like, what the heck? What do I care?
Yeah, it's all water.
Yeah, it's all water. You should see me in airports. But the point is that the second place after checking for that 3 o'clock or afternoon fatigue in general. If you just are a creature who, you wake up in the morning and it's like you just wish the day wasn't arriving. Hydration is your friend under these conditions. Our brain is 80% of our brain is run on electrical impulse driven by hydration. Only 20% of our brain is run on chemical communication. So throwing all the mental health drugs at our problem when we could intervene with a much higher percentage of 80% hydration.
Yeah.
Again, remembering that hydration is your electrical function.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of morning, may I even use the word despair, because I have been there. That's a hydration issue. It can be really helped by hydration. And the other place to notice is overwhelm, because water is managing incoming information. And if you're low in your hydration level, things are going to come at you and you're just going to feel overwhelmed. Some people call it brain fog.
Right.
That's a kind of it, but brain fog is just a form of overwhelm, because your brain's just starting to go, I can't deal, and it just folds out, right? You get the fog around the edge. I notice for younger people, a way to notice that they're dehydrated is their eyesight starts to change after being on the computer for so long. So your ocular socket is one of the most hydrated spots on your body. And people who notice their ability to focus well on the screen starts to go down. That's another clue of hydration. And then the last one I'll give you. So afternoon fatigue, brain fog, visual acuity, and then the last one is a surprise for everybody, which is good sleep. It takes a lot of hydration to sleep well. Why that is at night, your cell structure changes in your brain, and it actually shrinks to make room for hydration to come in and wash out all the waste in your brain. So at night, your brain structure, your cells move apart and get smaller. They squeeze out waste, and they're basically putting waste out on the sanitation street for the water to come through and wash it out.
Oh. That's one of my favorite analogies. It's just funny. You say a lot of stuff I say. So
I think we're on the same page, right, Chris?
Yeah.
So if you're not sleeping well, it's a signal that that whole system is, under construction. There's problems there, because you're supposed to go through the whole night that allows you to go, for the cells to shrink, the hydration to come through and wash out, and then the cells to reorganize around better hydration, and then start giving glorious dreams to you. I mean, then it's assimilating the information that it's received during the day. So sleep is a hydration issue of great merit. And again, for a lot of people, it's a problem of getting up and having to pee in the middle of the night. So when you tell people they have to hydrate well, they're like, yeah, I'll never do that, lady. And what I then share with them is, well, if you hydrate with food, you've got all those fibers that are holding that moisture inside of you, instead of you having to do the run all the time to the bathroom in the middle of the night. So there you go, another strategy.
That's interesting. Quick story. One of my brothers was visiting me last year, and we were just chatting, and we hadn't really talked in quite some time. So we sat down for maybe 4 or 5 hours. And while he was there, when my family comes here, I do my best to, immerse them in whatever I've got going on health wise. So I had some water that I had structured using my process and different devices and everything. And I think I ended up gave him two. They might have been like 20 or 24-ounce glasses in the time we had been sitting there. And I told him about the water and how it was different and things like that. And at the end of our conversation, he was like, "You know what, Chris?" Because I was talking about like how we hydrate better and all these other things. We don't have to pee as much because we're hydrating and not just flushing it out.
Exactly.
And he was like, I should have peed by now. I should have definitely peed at least once or twice by now, but I haven't. So that's just, kind of like for me, just like it's real. Like you really don't have to pee as much when you're hydrating versus just drinking bulk water.
Yes. So water from tap or bottle, called bulk water, or just regular liquid water, or H2O, that can flash flood your system in as little as 10 minutes. And why that's not a good thing is that when it does that, it's pulling out the very minerals and electrolytes that are running your electrical system. So you become even more tired. And you are dehydrated because you didn't get the water where it needed to be distributed. You just sent it down the central canal. And, if you're a gardener, you didn't get it out to the plants that needed it. Right. So the irrigation system in the body is our tissue system is called the fascial system. And that fascia is a very, almost like a spider's web, very gossamer, really wasn't identified as a whole organ system more than 8 years ago, because all the people who dissected were dissecting dehydrated cadavers.
True, that makes sense.
So nobody noticed that these tiny spider webs were actually the entire hydration system, irrigation system for our body. And therefore water with electrical charge that can actually rehydrate tissues through this electrical voltage that goes through our system and then run the communication system of our body. It's a completely different ballgame. And the ways to get that in, we need multiple ways to have that in our life now that we live in artificial environments. So high quality fruits and vegetables, good juices, like if you're a green juicer, bless you. If you're a smoothie maker, even better, because you get the fibers to help you hold. And I use all these strategies because I move through a life, right? Just like you do. We all need lots of different strategies for getting this water into our life. Putting salt in water, going to a restaurant, you're at a bar, you ask the bartender for a little pinch of salt for your water. What the heck? I carry it in my bag. So when I get caught with a glass of water, I know doesn't have any value, it's just going to run through me. Then I will add something like some salt from a bag I carry, or
lime. Is lime a good option?
Lime, if I'm it's just good old lime, and that's all I can get. But I'm trying to give you a menu of things you can do, and then there are great devices. I like the ones that don't require any kind of electricity or filters. These are simple, very simple spin funnels. And again, water in its natural state, this gel-like state that we've been talking about, is the state that water's seeking to get into. So water goes through a cycle. It goes from vapor to liquid, and then this gel stage, which is very long, and get all the way to a jello-like state, and then it flips into ice. And so that happens by water moving through the hydrological circles of the whole earth, but also in mountain streams and waterfalls. And so you find these companies who've copied nature and made these little spin devices which spin water enough that when it comes out on the other end, it has the electrical charge in it again.
And
And
that, oh, I love how simple it is. I didn't want to cut you off, but
oh, it's brilliant. I love these people. There's a number of companies that make them. I think Patrick that we met through at the Wellness Enterprise, they carry a variety of them. And actually, because I'm the Hydration Foundation, right? So we're a nonprofit, and we're really concerned with spreading lots of information. And I remember having a conversation with them early on saying, I think these devices, the portable ones, the one that I use and I take with me and I use it at my sink, and even in my bathtub, that I think it's something like, it's just under $400. I don't remember exactly the price anymore. And I said, families, that's a hit.
right.
So how would you consider making a payment plan so that, that young families can, either put aside or find a way. So I like that he was willing to do that, and we had that opportunity. That was great.
Yeah.
Because I'm a mom, and I'm a nonprofit, and we're concerned with funds and making things happen in the world.